I'm muted over there. Oh,
There
am I unmuted now? There I am. I'm
you
like, why am I
are.
double muted? I have muted this way. What up? What up, y'all? Welcome. Welcome to another episode of So You Don't Put Syrup on Your Grilled Cheese.
Because we
We
do.
we do. We are two real life cousins here to talk about all the stuff that we thought was normal, but was actually the family recipe of dysfunction. So we're on a mission to unpack all of that, share our stories, help others find their voices when it comes to healing and mental health. So we invite you to come along with us on this journey, hoping that you'll get some self discovery, some laughter, and maybe even a little bit of healing. So my name is Kimberland. Tylin, House of O'Neill, Jackson, and Adams, empathetic energizer, intuitive, inspirational innovator, seer of souls who are hurting, healer of hearts, and voice to the voiceless.
I know that's right. I am Kalonda of House Jackson, first of her name, assistant of entrepreneurs, beacon of banter, creator of content, dancer of dreams, excellence enchantress, and New Orleans native.
Woot, woot, woot. Snaps and things. One of these days, we'll have air horns and stuff. And then, yeah, you do a good job
In
with
the
those.
meantime, in
You
the
do a
meantime.
good job. Yeah, I like it. I love it.
I enjoy making an air horn sound. When I was looking for when I came here and they ask you like interesting questions on Airbnb of like what are some facts about you so the host can see or whatever. And
Oh,
so it's like, oh, what was your favorite song during high school and what are some things that you're really interested in? And then one of the questions is, what's a useless skill that you possess? And I was like, what is the useless skill that I have? I don't know. I was like, I even had to ask somebody, and they were like, well, I think all skills are useful. Like, what are you talking about? But I also didn't provide any context as to why I randomly asked, what's the useless skill I have? So I just put, oh, I think all skills are necessary, whatever. So just now I'm like, damn it. So now since they've asked me, I've frequently been identifying all these useless skills that I possess. And one of them
right.
is the air horn.
Put it on your resume. Put it on
I
your
need to put it on,
website. Put it
you
on
know?
things because it can absolutely be used.
You
Also,
never know who needs
interesting
it.
that the Airbnb host had those questions. That's different. I've
Yeah.
never seen that before.
Yeah. I guess just to like get to know you, understand who's going to be there. I don't know. Apparently, my answer said that I only needed one roll of toilet paper for 6 days. So I should probably reevaluate how I provided those answers.
I've also been there. So before we get into all of that, please tell the people the community agreements and stuff
Yes.
because
So,
we made
welcome
a few rules.
everybody. We are getting in there. Sometimes that happens. I get a little ahead of myself or behind myself. Who knows? We just want to make sure that we're really clear about the expectations, what you can expect from us, what we expect from you. From us, most importantly, transparency. We don't have all the answers. We are not experts in everything. We are experts in some things. Don't get me wrong. There are things that we know, and that's what we're going to talk to you about. We are definitely a good time. We are a hoot. I think we're hilarious. We do curse a bit. It may happen, it may not, So you just, whenever the spirit moves, it just adds a little spice to the language and the conversation. If that offends you, I'll apologize in advance, but you have been warned. What we expect from you, engage with us, talk in the chat, to us, to each other, especially now. Let us know where you're watching from, how your spirit feels, all the good things. Ask any questions you might have. We're definitely looking. We'll be responding to that. And then above all, if you find any of this exciting, if any of this generated a smile, comment, like, subscribe, smash all the buttons, and then share, 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 share. That is a super free way for you to support us and to help grow our loving, budding community here of people who do indeed put syrup on their grilled cheese.
Amen to that. Hey, guess what? found, and I'm gonna use it right now. So we
Ooh.
have some updates, and one of the updates is that we are at 1,100 subscribers. So we crossed the threshold for 1,000 subscribers last month, and we did a twerk fest to celebrate that. And now we
Indeed.
are at 1,100 subscribers, and that is so exciting.
That is phenomenal. And I've heard people say it a bunch of times, and it didn't click that that was actually a thing. But they're like, the first 1,000 is the hardest. Once you get past 1,000, it's easy. And I'm like, that can't be right. Like, it just feels like it's moving backwards. But indeed, we appreciate you guys sharing and telling a friend and finding value in what we're sharing here. So it's been awesome seeing it, girl. I can't wait.
Yeah. So congratulations to us and congratulations to you all for being here and being here on the ground floor. One day there are going to be documentaries and books and movies that are written about this journey that we're on. And you are going to be able to be like, oh, I was there.
I was
I
there.
was
I was
in
there.
that number. I have been following them from the beginning and here we are, right? So having said that, let's also I just lost my train of thought.
Oh no, come on back. Woo, woo. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back now. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it
I
back now.
just read one of the comments and I got really excited and happy.
Oh.
So shout out to Ratatouille who is here in the comments. So what was I
Oh.
about to say? I totally just lost all of everything. Just went out of my head. That was so funny.
We were in that.
Okay, announcement. So
There you go.
last absolutely positively last call ever for interns. Okay, not ever, but for this
But
cycle.
this one.
So we are very quickly, like this week, closing the window for any new interns whom are wanting to get into content creation and learn a little bit about the behind the scenes that happens. So, as I mentioned, like pressing the buttons and all that kind of stuff, that's a job that somebody could be doing. So, if you know a young person or if you are a young adult between the ages of 18 to 25, and any of these areas are exciting to you, you are wanting to learn how to edit, to produce, to moderate sound. Even right now, there's a little click that I'm gonna name. I know, I hear it. We gonna do better when we get some interns. Chat moderators. So that's people in the chat, like talking to the people and sharing information. Social media, virtual assistants, graphic designers. If any of these things are interesting or exciting to you, please scan the URL code. I'm sorry, what's this called? The QR code. Scan the QR
There
code
we go.
that is here and go to tinyurl.com/ so you don't put syrup on your grilled cheese, the acronym intern app. And it is here on the screen for you, so you can take a screenshot of that. And please do come our way because we are looking for you. Okay.
Yeah.
And the other thing is we with these interns are going to wind up having a lot more Ask An Auntie questions. So I want to tell you all how to be able to submit those because life be out here lifing, right? So if you go to tinyurl.com/askanantea, that is how you can talk to us about some of the questions that you might be having about things. For instance, we have talked about this perimenopause journey before, and more content creators are talking about it. Tabitha Brown has been talking about it a lot, as well as Melissa Fredericks, Mrs. Kev on Stage. It's a thing, right? And we are trying to figure out, those of us who are in our 40s, why ain't nobody told us this? Why is we figuring this out right now for the first time? What is happening?
And especially because somebody actually colored it in a little bit for me yesterday, that a lot of the people ahead of us now have had hysterectomies already. So their experience is completely different than what we are experiencing right now. But there are some things that people knew about that did not tell us. And we're like, wait a minute, you did this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
this happened to you.
Yeah.
And you didn't tell nobody. And they're like,
You've
oh
been
yeah, that's
walking
right.
through this. Yeah. So we
You know?
don't want to be that. We don't want to be
No,
gatekeepers. We want to make sure that we are being intentional with sharing information. So this is your time to ask questions. And even if it's not like if you're in the same age group as us and you got ask the questions because we need to know
yes.
that we're not alone, right? So Ask
Correct.
An Auntie is how you do that. And again, if you go to tinyurl.com/ask an auntie, that is how you can submit any question scenarios, and you're free to stay anonymous if you would like. No pressure on that. And then lastly, we do accept guests here at So You Don't
Please.
Put Syrup on Your Grilled Cheese. So if you are wanting to be a guest here on the show, please email us at mindingmyblackassbusiness@gmail.com. And with the subject line, let me on there. Okay. And that is how you will be able to be a guest on the show. But there is one caveat. If you are a guest on the show, you have to taste syrup on your grilled cheese. It is mandatory. All right. But we do have
Yeah.
some people who have been asking about coming into the universe and all of that. So let us know and we're gonna get you in here. All right. The
Yeah.
last thing I want to go over are our emojis. We haven't talked about them in a while, so this is a
Yeah.
way for you all to show us some love. So I'll let you explain yours first and then I'll explain mine.
Awesome. So if you see me out in these internet streets, I know sometimes I'm not there, but sometimes I am. If you see me, this is a super cool way to just be like, hey, girl, I see you. And I'm from the So You Don't Put Syrup on Your Grilled Cheese universe. My emojis are a ladybug and a blue heart. The ladybug, they symbolize the messages from the universe, from God, that let me know that I am on the right path. When I was making the move to get out of the States, ladybugs were everywhere, just visions of progress and luck and prosperity, just following me around. Even in super like stressful times, there would be a ladybug that just landed somewhere. And then once I got here, they welcomed me to Colombia and to Medellin. And then they kind of, I guess, handed me off to hummingbirds. But ladybugs will definitely always be my first heart. The cobalt blue heart. Cobalt blue is my absolute favorite color. It feels homey and warm and just really rich and luxe. And I have committed to loving out loud, being loved out loud, not having to try to figure out what that looks like, but really changing how I focus on living and loving in my life. So if you see me out there, ladybugs and blue hearts, lets me know that you are from here.
And so my emojis are the sunflower. I don't know if you all have noticed that I haven't been wearing my yellow glasses. Did anybody notice that? And do you wonder why?
Uh,
So, when I was in Panama at the beginning of the year and I fell and I bust my chin wide open, I had on my yellow glasses. And when I fell, my glasses hit the ground and got scratched up. And I was trying to continue wearing them because they're my favorites, yellow glasses. So they're my favorite glasses, period. And they're the only yellow pair that I have. But my lenses got all scratched up and I just couldn't see through the scratches anymore. It was giving me a headache. I was trying so hard because I love those glasses. And then I was like, maybe I can like, you know how back in the day they used to have those commercials with
mm,
like you would spray something on like
and
glass and then it would like fix it.
yes.
In some kind of way in my mind, I felt like I had a magic way to be able to do that. I don't. And it was getting worse and worse and worse. So I had to switch over to another pair of glasses. So that's why I've been wearing different glasses. And I am kind of sad about it, if you are wondering. But also the sunflower, because yellow is my favorite color. And I usually have on yellow glasses. I have a yellow purse. Yellow makes me happy. It brings me joy. Sunflowers represent the sun and the bright side of things and turning towards the sun in all things. And that really resonates with me. And then the crayon, crayon is my other emoji because so we didn't really mention where our feet are planted. I'm gonna let you get to that in a minute. My feet are planted in Medellin, Colombia, and I've been here for a while, almost 2 years now. But before I moved here, I felt like my life was very black and white. My wardrobe was black and white, like everything around me was very black and white. And I made an intentional decision to color the fuck out of my life. So I adopted the crayon as my emoji because that's what I'm intentionally doing. I'm intentionally looking for color and how I can add color to my life. So those are my emojis, and thank y'all for sharing and dropping those into the chat. Again, this is a way for you all to say I love you so much, so much, so much. I love you, I love you, I love you. And then we know that you are connected
Yes.
to us because this is the place where we talk about that. All right. Okay, so having said all that, last time that we were here, we talked about our spirit, and I was like, how is your spirit doing? And you was like, in shambles. And I was like, me too. So I feel like it would be a great time to do another spirit check, and
Mhm.
also for you to update the people because your background is really cute, and I am curious about where you at, and I know the people probably curious too.
Well. Yes. So my spirit first is um a little less shambled, I guess. I'm still working through some stuff, but a little less shambled. And I think part of that is because of where my feet are planted right now. I've been on a little bear venture, just because I needed to do a quick little jaunt out of Medellin to reset my visa, if you will. And then what I decided was I wanted to come to Lima, Peru. So that's where my little bear paws are currently. I know it is a super cute little background doodad we got going on here. I very much enjoy it. Even though there is only one roll of toilet paper, I did have to go get some this morning. Um, that's an interesting experiment as well. Just trying to like ration yourself. Be like,
Well, so
so
you thought that you was like, okay, I'm gonna really just use one roll for 6 days.
well, and it wasn't even a full roll, but yes, I
I
was like,
hate
it's
when they do that.
6 days.
I leave it in the
But
reviews because at least give me a full roll. Like I understand that you're not here to like outfit all of my paper needs, but at least
right,
start me off with a full roll. And if it's not a full roll, then
something,
you need to leave a full roll extra. Like if you're an
something
Airbnb host, I hope you're listening
at
to this
least.
and taking notes because, yes, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to jump in,
Dude,
but I be
no,
passionate
no,
about
no.
that because why you
But
leaving
it
me
makes sense.
four pieces of toilet paper and I just got here at 2 a.m. and I can't even go to the freaking bathroom. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Contemplating life decisions. Okay. There was a whole thing because I really did get in at 2 in the morning because that was its own separate adventure story. But I'm everywhere, y'all. So roll with me for a little bit. But yes, feet are planted in Lima, Peru. Definitely love it. We've talked about this before. I love a proximity to water. I love being able to put my toes in the ocean, watch a pretty sunset, send my worries to the waves, and let them carry them away from me, sweet Jesus. Um, so this has been amazing. Being able to wake up in the morning, smell the ocean in the air. Super awesome. And so much so that I didn't think of something that someone lifted up yesterday of like, oh, if it smells like salt water, like, do I have to worry? Do I have to worry about my electronics? And I was like, I didn't even think about that. Didn't even think about the salt water in the air, but I definitely
Yeah.
enjoy waking up smelling it. And then in those moments when I get to meditate and my eyes are closed and I'm focused on my breathing, like being able to literally inhale that scent, it just does wonders. So when I say I'm a little less shambled, I think that's definitely a big component to that. Um,
Yeah.
yes, Lima has been amazing. I got out yesterday and got to like tour the city, see a lot of the old buildings and the architecture, and it's always
You did the
interesting being
walking
from the.
tour?
Yeah, it was this
Okay.
awesome walking tour with this guy Jorge,
And you
very
said it was
animated.
free.
It was free, so there's several things. Like this trip has been very interesting.
Okay. Because I got
Free
questions, but I'm gonna
tour.
try to hold them. But go ahead.
No, feel free. Ask in the middle. We good. This is how this works.
Well, I'm just wondering about the difference in the cost of accessing things because
Mhm.
not that the tour being free is like the way that they roll or whatever, but I'm just wondering because one, being able to have free things to do is phenomenal, right? But I'm
Right.
also wondering how it compares to here in Colombia as far as the money.
Right. So it was very interesting because I was looking at different experiences through Airbnb. Side note, if you guys are looking, moving around, doing the things, Airbnb doesn't just have lodging, they also have experiences. So feel free to check that
Also,
out for the city
this
you
is
live
not
in.
a commercial, it's not
No,
sponsored, but
but
also
they should.
Airbnb, if you would like, because we be using Airbnb. And also, though, I know there's been some controversy in the
Oh,
US
true.
about Airbnb. So just take all of this with the grains of
You know,
ocean salt. Okay. All right.
correct.
Go ahead.
Use as you see fit. However, yes. So I was looking on experiences, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So I had selected one like a magic water park. That one wasn't free, but it was supposed to be like this Guinness Book World Record holding number of fountains and shows, and they're like rivals Bellagio and all the things. So I'm super excited. That's tonight.
Oh, I was about to say,
Um,
when you do that, I want to see
that's
the
tonight.
pictures.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So I'll be doing that tonight. But in the middle of like getting here and just trying to figure out, where to go and if there were cigar bars, because I love a cigar bar. I popped into this WhatsApp group, and so then like some individuals were messaging me on the side, and like one person was like, "Oh, here's the link to this free walking tour," and it was just like a Facebook link to book it. And I'm like, oh, "Okay, that sounds awesome." You just make a donation to the tour guide, and they have it in English, they have it in Spanish. It's like 2.5, maybe 3 hours, so pretty robust. And then we go. So it was really cute. I guess wherever I'm located in Barranco is like the bohemian, fun, artsy district. And I needed to get the tour was going to be in Miraflores. I might be getting some of this back with y'all. Please just charge it to my head, not my heart. But wherever I needed to go, they were like, "Oh, don't meet up at the original place. Just go to this church if you're coming from Barranco." So I'm like, oh, "Okay, cool." So the guy, Jorge, I guess they didn't tell him that. So then he was messaging like, "Oh, hey, are you coming?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. They told me to go straight to the church. I'm on the way. I'll be there at whatever time." And he's like, "Okay, cool. No big deal." So he messages a little bit later and he's like, "Hey, I'm running a little bit late. Like, don't leave without me." And I'm like, "Where am I go? I don't." If your tour, you're taking me on a tour. I can't go nowhere. So I'm like, "All right." So the Uber driver drops me off and is like, "Está aquí?" And I'm like, "Oh, ciao." Whatever. I get out of the Uber and I'm like, "Donde está Basilica?" Like, none of this looks like a church. And so I'm looking at Waze and I see it, but it's like not near me. But there was still street. So I'm like, why would he drop me off here? But it was like, so I went walking a little ways and I get to like this section where they kind of like in the like on Bourbon when they put like the little things where you can't drive down anymore.
Gotcha.
So I'm
Pedestrian
like,
only street or whatever.
yeah. So I was
Uh-huh.
like, okay, why wouldn't you bring me at least this far? But whatever. I don't know. So I get to this part and they're doing like some kind
I'm
of dance
wondering, one
class.
second. I'm wondering if
Yeah.
it's your earrings that's causing
Oh, am I
the click.
clicking?
It's
Probably.
possible. Yep, that's what it is. Go ahead. Continue.
I talk with my head and my hands. Sorry. Um,
No, it's still
so I get.
happening. It wasn't the earrings,
Oh
but go
shoot.
ahead. I don't know.
I
It's
don't
okay.
know. I don't know.
It's okay.
Um, so I get to the all right, now I don't have my earrings on. And so
I know you got to put them back on because you're not a boy.
You know, how will they know? How will the world know? So
that's an inside joke. Y'all got to go back and watch one of our first episodes where we talk about our earring trauma.
It is a thing. People will clock you. Like for years, I carry extra pairs of earrings in my purse just in case.
So bad. You just out here with naked ears, no earrings.
You're not dressed. Awesome decor. All right. Anyway. So I get to this square and they're like doing like
keep going.
They're doing a dance class. And the thing is in this little square. So I'm like, it still don't look like a church because this is my first time here. So I don't know if it's like maybe it's just an area they call the church and it's not an actual church. I don't know. So I sent Jorge a message and I'm like, I don't think I'm here yet, but they're doing a dance class. And he's like, just send me a picture. So I sent him a picture and like a video of where I was. And so he goes, oh, you're very close. And then he sends me a picture of like the door of the church. And I'm like,
that is a very nice picture, Jorge. And also, I'm not from here. I don't know what this damn church is. But thank you for sharing this view, this Puerta Hermosa. Muchas gracias.
You know what I'm saying? Beautiful.
¿Dónde está, Jorge?
Well, turns out Jorge was still on autobus. He wasn't even there. It was like it was a picture from another tour of like, this is what the door looks like that you're trying to get to, right? So, so I say, okay. So I keep walking straight because I'm like, it's gonna get me somewhere. I gotta be in the area this Uber man dropped me off.
And you're not asking anybody for directions or anything.
Who does that? I'm asking Jorge, getting pictures of doors. I mean, no.
Okay, carry on.
Just be bopping about, you know? So I get down there, I find the church, so I send him a picture of the door, and I'm like, I have arrived. I am here. And he's like, okay, I'm close. So that's when I realized that wasn't a picture from today because he was nowhere around.
First of all, Jorge has said he was close the first time. No, he said you were close. That's what he said, close. That you were, because how close is close? See, I be needing to have minutes. How many minutes away are you? Put it in the GPS. But then, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Because that's what happened at Parque RV. Like, oh, they'll be down in a minute, and a full lunch hour later.
Correct. Y'all lying. How many? Tell me how many. I'm counting.
How many minutes?
Because you just tell me anything.
So anyway, so I'm standing there. So now I'm taking pictures of like whatever I'm around, and this lovely lady who popped in comes up and she's like, "Do you speak English?" And I was like, "Yes." And she's like, "Are you waiting on the tour?" And I'm like, "Yes." So she's like, "He said he's running late, right?" And I was like, "Yes." So we're like, "Yay, friends!" You know, amazing. Side note, I love being Black, y'all. And I just love when we meet and see each other out in public. And it's just like,
we be so happy.
So happy. Like finally. Safety, comfort.
I was going to say, finally feel safe. Hey, girl. Hey.
Ooh, somebody saw me. You know? So that was super awesome. And then just like discovering all the commonalities and all the things. So like that was super cool. So then I had like a tour buddy and then, you know, we hung out, talked about like how we got here. She's been traveling for months, is an herbalist. So, you know, I thought about you immediately.
You get her information?
Oh, I have it. I have it all. I gave her all of our stuff because I'm
yes.
Like, yes, this is alignment. These are all the dots that continue to connect. She's also an executive assistant. I was telling her about Vin. Like, yeah, all the things. All the great
things. Vin is Visionary Executive Network. That's Kalonda's business, in case you didn't know. Okay, go ahead.
That is that. If you need somebody to assist you, let me know. I have people. I have people for you. You don't have to do this by yourself. And these are the things that we like to do. So don't even feel bad about saying, hey, do this. I need you to set up my Calendly, please. So
Because
I can
I'm gonna
give
ask
you
for
a good
all the
time.
things because I need them all. Okay.
All of it. All of it. My mom would be like, I got people. Like, she's like, I got people. Except she thinks she's funny though, because she's like, if it's something that's outside of the scope of our contract for what we've agreed to do, then she's like, well, I'm just gonna call my daughter and ask her to do it.
That's funny. She got the inside connect. She like, no
You know
worry,
what I'm
I'm going
saying?
to the
The
top.
daughter loophole is she is not above using it. So but yeah, it was super, super cool. And just being able, she's been in Lima for a while, so she was giving me some stuff that's
Oh,
still
okay.
going
She lives
on. Like
there.
there's a carnival today that I'm gonna try to get to before and after this water show because it's supposed to be like all day. She was telling me to try, or that she had gone on this excursion, and I was looking at it. And I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do it tomorrow. Where you go sandboarding and like down the dunes on a snowboard, basically, but a
You
sandboard because
know
you're on
damn
sand.
well I wouldn't be nowhere around that. I'm like sand duning. What? For the record, I hate sand. It
Anti-sand.
makes me want to spit. I just hate it. So
Not spit.
it makes my skin crawl. I hate it. But this sounds interesting. So there are sand dunes?
So sand dunes, it's like a 4-hour ride to get
Uh-huh.
there. And
Uh-huh.
then they would go riding in the on the all-wheel drive, like the
Okay.
so do like the actual dune buggy riding.
Uh-huh.
She said that feels like a roller coaster.
Oh,
Then they have the sandboarding. So you strap the board and you go down the hill. Apparently
interesting.
amazing. And then depending on the weather, because sometimes that can change what happens, there's also a portion of the day where they would take a boat out tour and see like the sea lions and some of the sea life that's out there. Super amazing. And she said it was like 60 to 80 bucks. So she was like, even just for a 4-hour ride somewhere, you would pay more than that. Um,
Definitely.
you know, so definitely considering that. And yeah, like we were just having the best kiki of the time, and then talking about the states and what it looks like, what it feels like, wanting people to come along, but not being able to pull them, and just
Right.
saying, like, I want to spend my time where people are ready, and they've
Yeah.
made the
Yeah.
decision, and helping those who have made the decision to
Yeah.
say that sometime is enough. You can live the example for the people, and just really kind of talking about how we as Black women like strap our capes on of like, how do we fix it? How do we fix it? How do I give? How do I give more?
Yeah.
Without considering ourselves and
Mhm.
realizing that it truly is supposed to be you pour from the overflow. Like it's
Right.
not
Right.
just pour it in my cup and then I pour it into somebody else's.
Correct.
It's
Correct.
fill my cup up. And when
And
my cup
keep it full.
overflows, then you get whatever comes out of this cup that's extra, you know? Um, so just kind of hearing that, and I definitely needed to hear that message because I've come a long way. And I was telling
Mhm.
her this too. I'm like, but I definitely know I have a long way to go.
Mhm.
Um, and just understanding that is still a journey, and it is unlearning conditioning that has been forever, and it's what we've
Yeah.
seen, and it's what everyone has done, and just really being intentional about changing that message and being that example so that you don't feel like you have to justify and say like I'm not being selfish or not to be selfish, but like to be like it's okay to be selfish. Like I'm supposed to be selfish. I'm supposed to take care of me. Like that's who else gonna do it? I keep saying that. Who else is gonna do it
Correct.
if I'm not gonna
Correct.
do it? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so that was super cool. Awesome conversation with her. We went and grabbed some food afterwards. Because again, to the question of cost, which is where we started all this, in case y'all didn't get lost where we did.
Ain't nobody lost. We coming back around. Christian is at work
So
today.
the scenic
Christian
route.
is
Christiana's
my
there.
memory brain person, and he is at work today. So we good. We following.
Look out. Go Christian. All right. You know, he like to take every other Sunday off. He'd be like, no.
I let him though, because he's good. Now when he's at work,
Right.
he's
He
doing
be
the
doing the
thug this,
things
so it's all right. He could be off every so often. But
every
today
so often.
yes.
He is here. He
So
is clocked in.
cost
So
compare.
cost. So yes. So it's about 4 soles per American dollar, roughly.
What's their money called?
Soles, soul like the sun, like SOL.
Okay. Soles,
Um, mhm,
SOLES. Interesting.
for the
That's
plural.
cute.
Isn't it cute? Yeah.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Have you seen the dollars and everything? Do you have
I
efectivo?
haven't had any. I've been able to tap. Thank you, privilege and apple. But I saw like one briefly. I didn't like investigate it, so I haven't seen like the actual money. But I know it's coins and paper. But what's on it? That part I haven't experienced.
Now, do they take US dollars?
Well, I was able to tap.
I'm being shady
I know.
because sometimes people
That's the
will
questions we
ask.
get.
Yeah, but it's a different country, and no, they
Yes.
don't take US
So
dollars. They also
no,
probably don't take Colombian money or money
correct.
from any other country, probably
They
just
tend to take
soles.
Peruvian souls.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
But they do take credit cards and debit cards in certain places. Again, I was like in the touristy area, so I imagine that was why that
Mhm,
was.
mhm.
But like certain things, like I got this amazing churro. Yeah.
So tell me what their churros are like, because Mexican churros and Colombian churros are different. So describe
Yes.
their churros.
And their churros are different than those.
Okay.
So their churros are fat and like big. So probably like this big, and
Okay.
they're fat around, and then they're typically stuffed already.
Oh.
So either with like tres leche or fudge de chocolate. There was a third one. I don't remember what that one was at this place. So the tour guide was like, "Oh, this San Francisco restaurant, like this is the best one. There's normally a line there. Like they have the best." So we were at the tour, and then Amber went in, and she was looking, and I was like, "Oh, you can tap here. I'm getting a churro." So I
Yeah.
waited behind her. So she got hers. I got mine. It was 96 cents for this
Ooh.
churro,
For that big old fat stuffed churro?
girl.
Okay.
And when I tell you delicious, like definitely evoked a beignet type feel for me.
Okay.
Because it wasn't, you know how like Mexican churros are like the thinner, kind of
Yeah.
thicker, for
Rich.
lack of a better term. Yeah, like they're real dense.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
this was definitely lighter. So it made me think of a beignet more than anything.
Okay.
But the chocolate, like the fudge, was amazing. They say one of their desserts that is a claim to fame for Peru is their chocolate. Like it's up there with
Oh.
um, uh, why did I just forget who's known for chocolate? Belgium and Sweden.
So you bringing
That
some Peruvian
I
chocolate back?
apparently need to get some chocolate back. You know,
Yeah, you can't talk about
um,
it and not provide us a taste
and not
test. Who
provide
did that?
the receipt, let you try
Who
it.
does that?
Um, so like that was less than $1. Um, the like toilet paper, just for record, was like $1.99 for two
Mhm.
rolls.
Okay.
2 rolls? 4 rolls. I'm sorry, 4 rolls.
Affordable. Mhm.
So that was super inexpensive.
Now,
I
how much
did
are the
look.
eggs?
I was just about to say, so I did check on Rappi to see how much the eggs were, because I know that's everybody's like, you got to compare it to the price of eggs now, right? So for 30 eggs, it was like $5 and some change. So even a little bit less than Medellin, because Medellin it was like $6.
Mm.
So that was super cool to see. The we put trying to see what else did I look at? Uber rides. I think I went probably 30 minutes from here. So like the airport, okay, there we go. From here to the airport is like 25, 30 minutes. And that's 65 soles.
Okay.
So about
$12.
$16, 15,
Okay.
$16, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Um, So that
That's more
wasn't bad.
expensive than here, though.
Is it? I feel like
Well,
it's like
maybe
it's like
not, because to
35.
the airport, I'm just comparing it to like the airport. So to the airport is like
Mm,
35. No, from here it's like an hour. So then it'd be like $35.
yeah.
So it's almost about the
It's
same,
about what?
maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
about
yeah.
what?
We have a
Um,
question in the comments
yes.
when you finish about the chocolate. Have you had Mexican
Oh,
chocolate?
I have.
So the question is, which is better? And I don't like chocolate. That's something else that
Right.
you all should know about me. No me gusta chocolate.
Unacceptable.
Solo Snickers.
True.
Solo,
So solo Snickers.
solo Snickers. That's it. But what do you think? Which is
um,
better?
I love a good mole sauce, and mole has chocolate, and it's pretty flippin' amazing. And then it gets a little spicy too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I haven't explored a bunch of other Peru chocolates besides what was in the churro, I will say Mexican chocolate at the moment
Okay.
with a
Okay.
little asterisk.
Okay.
Research pending.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
for that.
you are
Okay.
welcome. Thank you for the question. um,
So
so
can
yeah,
you
so
tell us about some
cost,
of the other food that they have?
y'all,
I think
the
I'm
food
just a
here.
little hungry this morning, but
It's
I don't know,
okay.
because I don't know what questions y'all have. What other questions y'all have? Feel free to drop them in the chat. But I'm like, so what else they eating?
She's
Because
like,
it's
tell me what
it's
they
on
eat.
the ocean, so I'm assuming the seafood is amazing.
Phenomenal. So Jorge even said this in our tour. He was like, there's two main sports here in Lima or in Peru, actually. Soccer being number one, and then number two being eating. He's like, eating is the second sport. I was like, I am
Okay.
home. This is phenomenal. Give me
Yes.
all the food. So the first day, I love ceviche. One of their main dishes here is ceviche. It's technically not from Lima. It's from this place Trujillo, but a lot of people immigrated from Trujillo to Lima, and then it
Okay.
kind of fused together with the fresh seafood and made its own new ceviche life. I love ceviche. I've had at least 3 different types of ceviche since I've been here, and I think I got here Wednesday or Thursday. I don't even know what day it is right now.
Today is Sunday.
There's one. Thank you. There's one with like eggs. I had a mystery one yesterday, and from the looks of it, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna ask what it is. I'm gonna just eat it and see what happens. I know that's your worst nightmare.
Count me out. I need to know what's going in my mouth. I be having what is KS? KS.
And here one of the delicacies is guinea pig. So they eat.
No, ma'am. Count me out. Questions. I have questions. What KS?
She's like, I got questions. I got a question.
KS. No. KS.
Yes. Yes. I did ask that about the juice because they brought out like this big like pitcher to the table of just this juice and gave us 2 cups. And I was like, yes. And she's like, Madonna. But it was like apple and like cinnamon or something. It was really good. It was cute. It was just free with the $12 meal that was like this big portion of rice, some steak. I want to say they have it in Medellin. It's lomo saltado, maybe.
If
And
you
I could
ask
be getting
me,
that wrong.
I don't really know what it
I don't know.
is.
But I think they have a vegetarian version of it. But it was just like
Okay.
vegetables and meat with rice and this lovely gravy. Amber was actually telling me, she's like, I've had it with more gravy that I liked more than the place that we were at, with French fries as well. So I wasn't like
Okay.
a yuca fry. Yeah,
Okay.
yuca.
Yuca.
And then what else did I have? So I had the mystery ceviche. Oh, and then so when slavery got abolished here, 1865,
Okay.
then they got a large influx of Chinese immigrants that
Oh,
came here essentially to like, I guess, replace the African slaves. But like that wound up staying in
interesting.
Lima and in Peru. So they're a huge fusion between Cantonese food and Peruvian food. And so they call their Chinese food chifa,
Okay.
Chifu, and it means like rice eater.
Oh,
And
okay.
so but they largely claim like, hey, our Chinese food is Peruvian food. Like it is the same. It's one and the same. It is so good. Like this
Really?
fried rice with, they put everything in it. Shrimp, this giant squid, um, what else was in there?
See,
There's
yeah, I
a bunch
gotta
of
count me
chicken.
out at the squid. I don't want to eat
It was,
tentacles.
so
But
here's the thing. I'm not a like calamari fan, but I've had it done a couple ways. Even in Tijuana, we went. I remember one year, and they had it was like a flat pancake, kind of like this big, and it was
uh-huh.
like, and it was squid, and it was really good. It's not something I would necessarily look for, but it's
Hmm.
also not something that I'd be like, take that out.
Mm.
But it's really good. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's what matters. I'm like,
So
you
the
eat this.
food,
I'm just over here inserting my food aversions. Don't mind
she's
me.
like, no, thank you. Then they had like this little, it reminded me of like a Filipino lumpia, which I love, and I could
Okay.
eat 50 of those. So just like a thin egg roll, but in like the rice paper, not in
Uh-huh.
the egg roll bumpy paper.
Uh-huh.
Um, super, super good. Reminded me of that, but instead of in Filipino food, they usually mix it with soy sauce, vinegar, red pepper flake sauce, which is
Uh-huh.
delicious and tangy, and I love. Their sauce is very like lime based, which I also love. So like
Uh-huh.
it was lime and something else that you dipped it in, and it was phenomenal. Um, then they have like a spicy garlic sauce that they make that went with the kind of curry noodles that I had. Phenomenal.
Okay.
The food is ridiculously
It
good,
sounds
and that was actually
amazing.
one of the things about coming to Peru. They have like 4 of the top 100 restaurants in the world in Lima,
Oh,
and so I'm like, the food has to be phenomenal, you know. So I'm like, I want to eat my way through this entire place. Oh my god!
wow.
So
That's
super excited.
awesome.
Um, what else? What
So
else?
they you
Weather.
mentioned the abolition of slavery. Are there
Yeah.
black people there or where? Because you said the Chinese immigrants came in, but what happened to the black people that were there?
So that was actually part two for the cost question as well. So the Amber was telling me, and I haven't seen it yet, that there's a Afro Peruvian museum here as well, and that
Oh,
it's free. And so I was
oh,
like, oh, I have to find it because I
got to
went
go.
to the Museum of Contemporary Arts. That wasn't free, but it was like $4. It wasn't like crazy or
Uh-huh.
nothing. But that was free. So I definitely want to go to see that history because even just in the walking tour, hearing Jorge talk about, you know, the war between like the war of Chile and here, and
Mm,
how Chile and Argentina were formed and changed and shaped through war, and that
mm.
Chile used to be like this big country, and then Argentina slowly started chipping away at it,
Oh,
um, and like kind
your
of
energy.
changing the shape of the country where it no longer has access to the ocean where it used to. And so just like things like that that I never really
Yeah, we don't
knew
know
or
much South
understood.
American history, but
Correct.
also because Argentina, I feel like is fairly white,
Right. And
and
they
I don't know much
colonialized.
about Chile.
It was very, it seemed like, because they talked about Chile, Bolivia, Argentina, and Peru. And that
I
at
got to
one
pull up a map, y'all. I'm sorry because I don't really know. I look, geography was
she's
not
like, look, you know,
my
Google
best
Maps.
subject. Let
Another one
me
on the
see.
potential ban block list, but you know, our list is growing. I told you about Coca-Cola too. That's a whole nother one. But anyway, um, the that at one point Peru and Bolivia, if I'm not mistaken, were working to become allies against Chile. But
Okay.
then um, Bolivia decided to side with Chile, and so left. Peru like holding the bag, and so they have some like bad blood between the two countries
Oh
because of that
my.
history. So it's super, super interesting. So I definitely want to go to the Afro-Peruvian Museum so I can
Uh-huh.
see that side of it. By looks of it, I didn't see a lot of very darker skinned people here, or haven't yet. But again, I haven't been a whole lot of places, so I still got some
Right.
stuff to do. And
I'm
then
trying to
especially at
see
the
if I
carnival
can.
today, I think it'll be interesting to see that makeup of who's there. Uh,
So I want
so
to
yeah,
share this map just right quick.
yeah,
Just so we can, as you're talking, so we can see where these countries are that you're talking about, because I don't really
she's
know.
like, she's like this. We are here.
Right.
So like
Okay.
they were saying that like Bolivia used
Hmm.
to have that part of the coast that Chile has.
Oh,
But
like
then
right here.
Chile came correct and said, no, that's ours. And then Argentina started slowly taking parts of Chile because Chile used to
Uh-huh.
be fatter, is how he described it. He was like, Chile used to be a
Gotcha.
fat country, and now
Uh-huh.
Argentina is a fat country. He's like, it used to
Interesting.
be Peru, Bolivia, Argentina, and Chile. And then it kind of
Okay.
switched around as the wars were happening and they were
Right.
coming in, taking over bits and pieces, um, and trying to
Very
figure out who
interesting.
was going to own what. So I was like, this
Okay.
is so very interesting.
Is.
Um, Very much so. So I'm like, when I think of people, who are concerned about leaving and like where to go and what to do, it's like, especially because they have kids, and they're like, oh, well, I want to wait till my kids graduate high school. They're in school now. It's like the world is school. Like experiencing this is education because the information that we're getting, as you said, take it with a whole ocean of salt. Like
Yeah.
that's like it's different perspectives. It's not actually what happens in those places. So
Hmm.
just saying to be open to, what maybe if you're talk to parents who have moved abroad with kids and talk to the kids because the kids thoroughly enjoy the
They
experience. And
love it.
it's,
The kids
you
love it.
know,
Every child that I've talked to in this journey of being abroad, they are like, "Girl, do you see my life? Like, I'm out here frolicking about the streets." I talked to this girl, she was 10, and I had the most interesting conversation with that little girl about how her classroom is her everyday experiences, and as an educator, it makes me excited because also and I've told y'all this before, if y'all been following me for a while, we be putting too much trust in these schools to do right by our
child.
children, especially in the United States of America. Okay, because they do not care about your children. I need you to know and understand that they don't care. So to be able to have your children in safety, and I know a few folks, Danny I know is home with her kids, and y'all tell us in the comments if you're homeschooling your kids and what that experience has been like. But when we're talking about students that are children who are not having to recover their nervous system and don't
Mhm.
have to go into spaces where there are macro aggressions, it's not even micro,
Not even
and depending
micro.
on what
Yeah.
state that you're in, it is just, school is toxic and traumatic for many children. So your children will be fine.
They're
Okay,
allowed.
they will
They
be
literally
amazing.
it's easier for them to learn a language now. It's easier for them to make new connections now. Like, and not to mention the benefits just to yourself, of fresh food, real food, less stress, your cortisol levels go down. Like, all of these things that are actual benefits to you because you're not in the space of like, gotta go, gotta move, gotta do, like,
Yeah,
have to be productive. Like, I have to do these things so I can keep these things, but these things, house, car, whatever, are just keeping me tied into the system. Like, you can have so much more anywhere.
Yeah.
It's just we
Yeah.
haven't seen it as
Mm-hmm.
an example. And that's why I get so excited about what we do and just having the conversations that we have, because it's like it can be done. Like you
Yeah.
had been gone for years and we're like, hey guys, I'm over here. It's
And I'm not
free
coming back.
world. I heard you got your passport. Get on.
Come
You
holler.
got 150 some odd places you could pick and
Come
just go
holler.
see.
You
You know.
I love
Um,
it.
so that's been phenomenal. I've definitely enjoyed. This is 100% a place I would absolutely come back to.
Yay.
They even had of all the things, like there was but I think it's during something else today. But they were doing like a beach picnic. They're like, oh, just meet us on the beach. Bring your snacks. We're gonna hang out, watch the sunset. So
Oh, that's
there's lots of
cute.
different activities, a lot of history. I love going to places, especially coming from New Orleans. I started to say this earlier, because a lot of the architecture looks very familiar because we get
Mm-hmm.
all
The
of
Spanish
the French,
influence.
Spanish, a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of it all.
Mm-hmm. I felt
So
the
there's
same
like
way in
that.
Panama that
Oh,
I
I
could
bet.
see the architectural resemblances.
Yes. So it still feels like home. And then here, very much like Medellin, like it feels good. Like you
Mm-hmm.
feel safe, you feel centered.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's
Mm-hmm.
not a whole lot of I need to be, not that I'm not aware of my surroundings, obviously, because I
Mm-hmm.
be looking for a murder, rape, kill. But the and that's just me. That's not based on the places. That's just my brain. Sorry about it, y'all. But no, it's like you feel safe and you again, people are willing to help you. And like I was talking to a waitress and we're both like trying to figure out, okay, how do I say this in English, how do I say this in
Yeah.
Spanish, and just having those conversations organically and it just not
Mm-hmm.
being any stress about it. It's
Yeah.
been great. I love it.
Oh, I love that you finally got a chance to go, and that it is meeting and maybe even exceeding your expectations of what you thought it would be like. Like that's awesome to think that you're going to enjoy a place and then go and actually enjoy it. It'd be
And
like,
actually
okay, this is
like
this is lit.
this is
Yeah.
good. Like this is on
Yeah,
the
I
list.
love
Yeah.
that. I love that so much. Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see your vlogs. I hope we're
I
gonna see
know.
some vlogs coming up on the page.
So I do. I have some videos. I've even put them in sections. I was telling Amber, I was like, I have to stop saying this because I was like, I'm supposed to be recording content, and she's like, Oh, you're a content creator, and I'm like, I'm trying. I was like, I need to stop saying that. Like I am doing it, and I
Yeah.
also need to do it more consistently.
Yeah.
So yes, so I have them sectioned. I just need to edit them now, and then
Okay.
continue to record as I do more things so you guys can see what's happening
Yeah.
on this side of the world in Peru.
I love this. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm really excited. I love a good professional frolicker adventure,
You
So
know?
I'm here for it. Yay. Awesome. So, anything else before I give my updates?
Oh, so I was vetted.
Also,
that was
by
that was
whom?
an interesting experience. So my bear partner, right,
Hmm.
um, has a loving circle. And I hope and pray for that for everybody, that there's someone in your corner that cares about you, that will hold people accountable to treating you the way that you deserve, and, are vocal about it. Again, the whole loving out loud piece, right? So I wind up just on this call, basically.
Were you
Kind
just
of,
told to show up?
well, I just happened to be and was like, come on over,
Uh,
like, oh, they wanna meet you, So I'm like, okay, cool. So I get on there, it's three of their closest friends. And you could definitely feel like the intent was just like, hey, we want to make sure,
mhm,
that our
mhm,
girl has people
mhm,
and we will fuck shit up behind her,
mhm,
and I'm like, I
mhm.
can appreciate that.
Yeah.
It was very nice. It was very sweet. It was also very interesting because then I am always and working on not being my absolute hardest critic. So then having those conversations afterwards, during the conversation, it's fine. I'm like, oh, let's talk to strangers, do the things, all the stuff. Afterwards, though, you're left with those questions, and now you're like, okay, like, how do I measure up? What am I bringing to the table? And, am I honoring like this person and all those, like, just the questions again of like the worth and the like, what do I need to do in order to do these things? And just kind of like, I say dealing with it because it was, oh, really? Because it definitely was like a thought process after the fact of like, all right, I had to get out of my head of, yes, you are, you are worthy, and your partner is telling you that, and that you don't have to do anything, that you as you are is enough, and very affirmative and all the things. It's just, again, another lesson for me of like, yes, you've come far. There's still work to do. You have got to talk nicer to yourself. Because it is very much like the, well, oh, like I also don't want it to be you're insecure, so now I don't want to be with you. You know what I mean? It's not that those things are true, but it's the fact that you don't know that those things aren't true. That is now like, oh, I don't want to do that. So it's just all the layers of the things.
A lot of navigation.
So I would hope, for everybody out there, if you ever do have those questions or those concerns, just really being intentional again about talking nicely to yourself, and sometimes taking that step back and saying, okay, how would I tell my friend this if my friend came to me questioning their worth, or even a stranger? Because a lot of times we're way nicer to the people we don't know. We don't know their background. We don't know their history. And we give them all the grace in the world and have the best intentions for them, where we tend to beat ourselves up. So just giving yourself space in those moments to say, like, yes, I am good. I'm okay. I am worthy of love. And, not take it personally when a group of strangers is like, we're going to fight you.
Right. Because will. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I think I'm looking forward to the vetting processes that are on the horizon. I had said to Bianca, like, I need you to vet. Like, I need you to don't leave me with nobody and you ain't asked them the crucial questions. Like, yes, there are people, connected. So I love that. I appreciate that. So my birthday happened, and it was a lot. The beginning of this month was just a lot, period. I do want to take a moment to thank everybody who saw my video of kind of just putting it all on the line of everything that's been happening. Though we are not in the US, and though I do my very best to remove myself from many things happening in the US, I still, unfortunately, am very much affected by the things that happen in the US because of the line of work that I do. So it is important to, I believe it is important to be transparent. I actually got some feedback from one of my former students, actually, and she was like, "Thank you for sharing the non-glamorous side of life and the expat life, because we get to take these trips and we have these amazing experiences. And also, being an immigrant in someone else's country, there are rules that you have to follow, and there are certain things that." Certain limitations that might be present, right? So it's not as easy as, oh, well, let me just go get a job.
Just go get a job.
It's not. That's not how that works.
And navigating that, I know even with Amber, the young lady I met yesterday, she was like, I'm gonna have to go back home at some point to kind of just recoup. unless I find something that I am able to do
Mm-hmm.
from anywhere,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So there are a lot of us that are trying to figure out life, and we
yeah,
just so happen to be figuring out life in another country.
yeah.
So I talked to my psychologist the other day, and I was just like, I want to do a better job at honoring that part of the work. So it's not
Mm,
just, oh, I'm out here healing and I am doing those things also in a foreign country, in a
yeah,
different language. Like you can't leave that part out because that is
yeah,
additional brain capacity that is being
correct.
used, and figuring out how to navigate all that. So I
Mhm.
appreciated her for bringing that back or bringing it to the forefront of my memories. So I've been trying to
Yeah,
be a lot more intentional about pausing to do that. Also preparing to move, and that
right.
is always interesting because um when I'm very intentional about choosing the places that I live, because I do
Mhm.
believe that home should be a safe space where we are able to not be on edge. Like the home should be the place where you're able to just,
The
whew,
soft
all
spot.
right, like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I've really enjoyed the time that I've had here in this apartment, and I am grateful that many people have been able to come through this apartment and receive a moment of rest, and a moment of restoration, and a moment of how do I want to say, a chance to unplug and disconnect,
Mm,
and just really understand who they are. And I've been able to give that opportunity to quite a few of my friends, to you, to Bianca, like just being able to just come and just be. And also, I am ready for the next transitioning chapter, and to move on to see what else that life has to offer. I do want to say this, and I had asked myself if I was going to say something about this publicly, but I am, because the owner of the apartment, and I do hope that one day that they see this, but
mhm.
I had shared, first of all, the owner of the apartment grew up in the US. They're Colombian, but they grew up in the US. So I had said, hey, with everything that's going on, like in the US, like I'm kind of at it. I don't know what to do. Like I don't know what to do right now. Just receive words, contracts canceled, like all this stuff. And I'm trying to figure it out. So as soon as I know something, I will let you know. I'm so sorry, but also this is what's happening right now, like very presently.
Right.
And they took a few days to even, well, first they were like, I don't know what's happening in the US. And I was like, damn, that must be nice. I said, how fortunate that you don't have to know. You don't have to know anything about how lives are being
Being
upset left and
affected.
right, how
Mhm.
people are trying to figure out what they're going to do with their livelihood. Like that is so fortunate that you don't have to worry about that. And privilege for me is something that I'm constantly thinking about and making space for, because we don't necessarily understand the types of privilege that we have until you're in a situation where you realize that you have privilege. Like that's a privilege for them to be able to be like, yeah, I have no idea what's going on over
Right.
there. I don't know. So I explained what was happening, and then their response was, I'm so sorry to hear that. And also, I need you to pay the rent. And I was like, I
I'm
I
aware.
I I I understand. And also, I I don't know what to do right now, because this is happening right now. So
In
I
the
don't
moment. Yeah.
I I I don't uh, so that was a lot, and that is kind of how my brain was for several days, just glitching and just trying to, like, I don't that girl, sir, what? So gratefully, with the help of many of you, I was able to pay the rent and getting ready to close this chapter and move on to the next place. But one of the things that comes up for me when it's time to move is, how do you pare down your things, right? So I don't like to have things. My things fit in 3 suitcases and a backpack. And I try to be very intentional about keeping it that way, because I feel like a lot of times things keep us in a prison of, now I have all this stuff to carry and manage and find places for and like all of that. So I do my very best at this point in life to just not have things. But, and, um, in that process, every time I do move, I try to be very intentional about going through all of my things and doing a reassessment. Like, does it get to go
Right.
back into the suitcase? Does it get to come on to the next place? Or am I just gifting it or leaving it or what have you? So I've been starting that process, because I also don't like to feel the anxiety of, I have to pack everything up and there's so much stuff.
Mhm.
Like, I don't like to feel that either. It becomes overwhelming. So I also wanted to ask you, like, how do you, because I know that you're new to this, right? This
Mhm.
life of moving to different places and all of that. So how do you go through the process of paring down your things and figuring out what goes to the next place, what stays, like all of that? Do you have a process, or what does that look like?
So it's probably, I think because it's still fresh from the initial paring down of all the
Hmm.
things of like,
Hmm.
oh, I'm selling my house. I need to get rid of everything, you know. So that part's still fresh. So now it's more, I go, okay, what are some things that I purchased? Well, actually, first step, I was 18 pounds overweight with
You
stuff
got extra.
coming to Medellin. So I already knew things are gonna have to go. You know, I came in knowing that was gonna have to happen at some point. Um, so we're starting there. And then being mindful, like, okay, what are some things that I've purchased since I've been here, you know, that I still have and go, okay, is this coming with me? Do I need to put this in a WhatsApp group and be like, hey, come get it, you know, $12 or whatever. Um, so there's some stuff that I'm already going like, okay, I know I'm not taking this or I know I'm not taking that. And then the difference of, is it, am I moving as in moving in another country? So I need to,
Hmm.
what is going on a plane? Or is
Hmm.
it, I'm moving across town,
Hmm.
what I can put in an Uber and take with me
Hmm.
and then deal with that when I am getting on a plane and know that it's not coming with me.
Hmm.
So just kind of, even as I was purchasing things or looking back on things I've purchased, I was already kind of going, okay, this is not something that's going to come with
That's
me.
gonna
Like, this is
say,
just
yeah.
to make this stay comfortable. You know, like,
Right.
I know I love my little cloud, but it doesn't break down. So it
Yeah.
can't go in a suitcase, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
you just brought the ocean to me and some water sounds while I was here and some great ambient light. Um,
And thank you for your
so just kind
service.
of, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So really just kind of going through it that way. I haven't purchased clothes. Like, I know you definitely gifted clothes, you know, so I knew that like some of that happened. But then I like gave some clothes to Bianca, so stuff has like moved around a little bit.
Hmm.
But I bought
Hmm.
new shoes, so that's a little heavier because they were tennis shoes. Um, so just kind of deciding like, okay, that's not gonna go, or hey, I haven't touched this since I've
Yeah.
been here. You know, like automatically, you don't need to come with me.
For
Like,
real.
I clearly had no need for you. So
Yeah.
thank
You
you.
didn't even
Appreciate
remember
it.
that you were here.
Thought you were going to have a moment, you know.
I didn't. Moving on.
So that
Yeah.
is how I
Yeah.
pare it down.
Yeah, and I asked myself the additional question. You all may have heard me say this before, but does something bring you joy? That is the anchoring question for me. So even
Mhm.
with everything, like, does
Yeah.
this bring me joy? And if it does not, more than likely I'm getting rid
I
of
don't
it
have the power.
because
Yeah.
I don't want things with me, right? That don't bring me joy. So speaking of that, bringing joy, and I wanted to just kind of segue into a couple things because I need to get a couple things off my chest before
Get
we
it off
roll
your
out of
chest,
here.
girl.
Okay. The first thing, I need y'all to know what dating means. Okay. So I, just mentioned that I had this existential crisis, this crisis of what is happening with work and income and all that kind of stuff, right? So I made a video and I was like, hey, basically, I'm about to be homeless and this is wild. And a couple folks were like, I thought you was dating a chef. What happened to the chef? I thought you was dating a chef. And this is what I need y'all to know. Dating means going out on dates. That does not mean that somebody is taking care of me and that we are partnered. And dating literally means dating. Okay. So I don't expect anyone that I am dating to be financially responsible for me and my well being. That is not their role at that time. Now, if they decide in this dating process, hey, I want to actually partner you and I want us to be together and I want us to do life together, that's a different situation. But dating means that, right? And I know a lot of times that word is used very much to mean that you're in partnership, but I just want to be clear that when I say that, that is what I mean. Okay. That dates are happening and could be dating multiple people at the same time.
Right.
Because guess what? All we doing is what? Going on dates.
Right.
Okay. Dating does not equal sex. Dating does not equal access. Like we are going on dates and enjoying each other's company and getting to know each other. All right. So I want to make that clear. But also thoroughly enjoying dating.
Right.
Um, and I am continuously wowed by this chef that is like changing my life one recipe at a time.
Aww.
So for me, like food is very much like we just spent all that time, right? Talking about Peruvian food and like all the food and all
Mm-hmm.
the things. And I love to eat. I really do. And also if there is something that has to go, eating is the first thing off the plate for me, pun
Right.
intended. If I have to choose between sleep and eat, I'm sleeping. If
Right.
I have to choose
Eat, sleep.
between some other type of project in eating that has to get done, most likely I'm doing the other thing. Like eating is just not high on my list of things. I usually
Right.
only eat one time a day. I'm trying to do better with that, but it's a thing every single day. It takes energy every single day to figure out what food I have, what food can I cook, what do I have energy to cook, what can I cook that's going to last a few days, cuz I'm not trying to cook every day. I'm not
Right.
trying to do that. I'm also not trying to clean the kitchen and wash dishes every day cuz I also live with OCD.
Right.
So it becomes a thing and I become very like it I don't feel safe in my body when things are dirty. So I try to avoid being in that situation every single day, right? Because it's a lot. Dating a chef has been it's felt like a burden lifted off my shoulders
Mm.
where I am not having to be the one who is thinking about that every day, right? And it reminds me, though I don't have a whole bunch of good memories from childhood, one of the goodest, one of the best memories that I do have is my dad cooking in my family. So my dad is a chef and it was like growing up in a restaurant. I would have customized meals. They were always great. I didn't have to worry about if we were going to eat. There was going to be food. There was going to be something that was healthy and delicious every single day. And that, like, food insecurity is a thing. I don't know if any of you all have experienced food insecurity, but I still experience food insecurity because, again, if it comes between with money and I'm saying I don't have money, guess what? I just won't eat. I'll eat every other day and I'll just figure it out. So having someone who is now like dedicated to that department has been so incredibly helpful for me, from sending recipes and being like, hey, you should try this smoothie, or this is a meal replacement smoothie, so even if you're having a rough day, at least have this and that will replace a meal. Like, and having the knowledge to be able to tell me what those things are, it has been such a help. And I am just so grateful for having somebody actually asking every day, did you eat? What did you eat? What do you have? Tell me what you have, and then I will tell you what you can make. Or let's do this, let's make this for the week, and then you can freeze that. Like, that is so helpful to me. So anyway, I call the chef Ratatouille, and I actually watched the movie last night because it is one of a movie that I really do like. But you've never seen it? You should watch it. It's really good. But basically the premise of it is that there is a rat who is, so Ratatouille is a dish. Okay. It's a French dish, possibly. But it's a dish. But in the movie, there's a rat who wants to be a chef. And he's always appreciating like the combinations of foods and how you can put certain things together. And that's just his gift, being a chef. And then there's this young man who wants to try to be a chef, but he don't really know how to cook. He don't know how to do nothing. So all he's doing is taking out the trash. But he want to be able to cook. So anyway, the rat and the man pair together, and the rat teaches the man how to cook. And he does it by like pulling strings, if you will. So the rat becomes the chef underneath the chef's hat, while the man is in the restaurant doing everything.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, I call him Ratatouille because that's what I feel like. So there was this vegetable soup in particular that he taught me how to make. And I wasn't feeling well when I made this, when the soup was introduced. That was the whole reason why I was introduced. And there are certain experiences that I've had with food in different places. So for instance, one was in Negril, Jamaica, that I went to a farm to table experience. And the energy that was in the food, I could feel it. And I have been chasing like that type of energy because it was very, very different than anything I had experienced eating anything in the United States. It didn't make my stomach hurt. Like, I felt nourished. I felt full. It wasn't a lot of food, but it was like high quality food. Like, it was amazing. So anyway, so I am very aware that that food can make you feel amazing, or food can make you sick, right?
Right.
And so I wasn't feeling well, so I was telling him about it, and he's like, "You should make the soup." And I'm like, "I don't know how to make soup," because being from New Orleans, y'all, soup is not a thing. Like, we don't grow up.
We got gumbo.
Our soup
That's
is gumbo. That's it. But like different soup, like that, we don't eat soup like that. So it's a very foreign concept to me. I know people eat soup, but I don't know how to cook soup. Who knows how to cook soup? So anyway, now I do. And I got this soup recipe, and it not only made my stomach feel better, but I could feel that my stomach felt good. And that is not always the way that I feel after I eat. Sometimes after I eat, I feel pain, like my stomach is hurting, or there's some discomfort, or there's some bloating, or there's something. But the soup not only healed my stomach, but also made my stomach feel good. So then I was like, now you got my attention, Mr. Sir.
Right.
Because what kind of magical soup is this, right? But anyway, so now it's become one of my most favorite recipes, and I'm excited about all the other types of things that we can make. So I had introduced him to Bianca, right? And you
Uh-huh.
all. Bianca was saying that she wanted to cook. She was like, I want to make, this a recipe, some salmon, some rice. And we have so much. Why do we have so much soy sauce, Kalonda? Can you help us understand why we have so much soy sauce?
So I ordered soy sauce, but and I ordered the regular size soy sauce. Okay.
What was
Now,
regular?
for the people, the soy sauce that we have is
First of all,
probably
keep talking
this
because I'm
big.
about to. No, I'm about to go get the bottle. Keep telling the
It's
people.
okay. So I originally ordered soy sauce from Rappi because we've talked about before. I don't like to go to the store. Deliver it to me, please, and thank you. So I had ordered a regular small size bottle of soy sauce. Kim get both of them. So um I ordered that size, which I think is like, I don't know, 250 milliliters or something. They apparently didn't have it. And so the shopper was like, oh, do you want this bottle? And it just
Okay.
showed me a picture of the bottle.
Oh,
I
not
didn't
the
see the
milliliters.
size. So I was
Ah,
like, yeah, just substitute it. I just need soy sauce, whatever.
okay.
And so then this gigantic gallon of soy sauce
I'm gonna put it next to
shows
my
up.
head for comparison, so y'all can see how much soy sauce is here, right? So it's 1,000 milliliters of soy sauce. Okay.
A liter of soy
So
sauce.
I reach out to Ratatouille, or Bianca reaches out, and Bianca's like, I want a recipe. We got hella soy sauce. Okay. So hook us up. Baby, Ratatouille gave Bianca a recipe for honey teriyaki salmon, rice, and spinach. Y'all got to understand. So Bianca is new to cooking, and it's interesting because the first time, I don't think it was the first time, but the first time that she came to Colombia in my first apartment here, I taught her how to do salmon and grits on the stove. So she was super proud of herself. She went back home and she's making, the salmon and grits and like all excited or whatever. So now, this time she's like, yeah, because I'm about to cook. I'm about to get in here and do the things, right? And I done already told y'all cooking is a lot for me. So yeah, thanks. I want a plate to show up at my desk too. Like I want to experience that too. So anyway, Ratatouille gave Bianca this recipe. And the reason I give the context of Bianca not cooking so often is because cooking is an art and it's a skill, and there are
Mhm.
certain things that everybody doesn't know, right? Depending
Right.
on how you got introduced to cooking and stuff. Like it can look very different. So, Bianca has some skills, yes, but also not a chef, right? I'm not a chef.
Right.
So anyway, this recipe was so easy, but also
Mhm.
so delicious.
Right.
And she was in here popping her stuff. I was in here like, girl, this is good. And also, thank you, Ratatouille, for this recipe. Like, this is life changing.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to doing that more often. And I'm also thinking about doing like a new series, because like we do Crafty Cousins or what have you. Y'all see my my artwork back here. Kalonda has her blanket, but I was wondering what it might look like for Crafty Cousins to be on the cooking tip with
Hmm.
Ratatouille, because I know you love to cook. I love to cook as well. I just don't want to do it every day. And for me, it's all the
Same.
steps. Like you said, you don't want to go to the store. I don't want to have to cook and clean. Like it's a lot, you know. So anyway, I'm getting kind of excited because I feel like we might have a new opportunity to to bring some stuff to the people with creating these different recipes. And there are
Right.
different ones. Like I had also asked about the soy sauce. So then he gave me an Asian inspired fish sandwich. I
Oh,
wasn't wild about it, but I also didn't really know what it should taste like. So then I was kind
uh,
of like, I don't know if I did it right. But
uh,
it feels like a journey or an experience that people can take with
yeah.
us. So it's like, okay, this is the recipe we got today, y'all. Let's see. Because all of this is
Let's
through
see what
WhatsApp.
happened.
All of this is through WhatsApp. Okay. So it's like a combination of voice messages and a written out recipe, right? And I
Right.
think it would be really fun to see, like, to be able to make, these different meals, and then also be able to be like, okay, that recipe was good. We got everything in that, but next time you might want to say this, and these are the questions that we had, and such
Right.
and so. And I think it's great feedback for the chef. And this is not just for Ratatouille. If there are any other chefs that are watching and y'all want to
Send some
participate,
recipes then.
send us a recipe on
Yeah.
over, okay?
Yeah.
Because we can definitely like try to prepare it and see what it looks like and sounds like. So I wanted to offer that idea to you, and I wonder what you think about that.
That I think that's phenomenal. Absolutely. I enjoy cooking and I enjoy people enjoying what I've made. I don't always want to cook, which is very interesting. Because sometimes, like left to my own devices, I won't eat, or I'll be like, "Oh, just let me grab a snack or whatever, a slice of cheese and a grape, and go about my business." But um, I like getting new recipes because I think last time I was telling you like I'll just put ingredients into Chat GPT and see
Hmm.
what Chat says. Like, oh girl, you
Hmm.
could make this. Like, yeah,
Hmm.
okay, that sounds like you have enough to make that. And just see what it does and what my spirit feels like. Of like, I don't know about that one, but I bet if I put this in here, that'd be really good.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, absolutely. Send in the recipes. Let's try
Cool,
it.
cool. So, we also will need some suggestions from you all about the types of things that you might want to see us cook. Or maybe there are things that you're wondering about. Maybe you're like, okay, I have these particular ingredients. What can I make? And then we can
Right.
charge Ratatouille, or we can tap into Chef David, or we can
It's a
like tap into one of
chef
these
off.
things. Yeah. And then we could have a chef off. And then we can meet, for instance. So, we can do lives or whatever where we're preparing these things and you all can hang out with us. We could even
Yes.
do, meetups on Zoom where we do these things together. Like there's just so many
Together.
opportunities
Yeah.
for us. So yeah, let us know y'all's thoughts and what y'all might want this to look like. And also I will say we will put out like some stuff to the general public, but also most of it is probably going to be living in the Patreon. Okay.
Behind the
So
paywall.
Patreon, the reason why Patreon is so important is because it gives us a way to be able to earn and monetize before we're monetized. So we are
Mhm.
on this YouTube journey. Again, I mentioned that we have 1,100 followers now. We are on a mission to increasing our watch hours. So what we need from y'all, please and thank you, is to choose 2 hours of content to watch, and you can watch it actively. We're a great time. Okay. So we've got some blogs. Y'all can catch up. Like it's years of things that are there. The Patreon
Yeah.
has been going on since I left the US. So there are years of content there for you to binge watch. You can binge watch so you don't put syrup on your grilled cheese, and you can watch it from the beginning. You can also see our different vlogs and things that are there, and also have the opportunity to actually participate in these cooking classes or these chef offs or whatever we're about to design. So Patreon is only $5 a month. And if you want to donate more than that, you absolutely can. But it's only $5 a month for you to get access into everything that is happening behind the scenes. And most importantly, what it does is it allows us to be able to start to divorce ourselves from the chaos that is happening so that we can focus on this and focus on creating content, focus on being here for you all, focus on talking about the things that we're doing and depositing information and all of that. We get to focus on this and do this full time. It's like a full-time career shift, you know? So if you are in line with that mission and you're thinking, I actually appreciate y'all, and I do. I want to send a little support your way. Go on over there to patreon.com/minding my black ass business and come hang out with us and talk to us. You can chat with us there. There's lots of ways to be able to interact with us. So, and again, you also get the ability to influence what we're making because you have a
Yeah.
chance to talk to us directly and say, this would be phenomenal if you would do this or talk about that or what have you. So, patreon.com/minding my black ass business is where you can find that. Now, you might be saying to yourself, I don't have $5 a month. I really, really wish that I did, but I don't. And that's all right because you are able to help us by liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting. Have you liked the video? Y'all are sitting here watching. Did you push the like button? Go on and push it. If you ain't pushed it yet, go on and push it. Okay. Push it. Okay, go ahead and push the button. Go ahead and make sure that you are subscribed and that the notification bell is on so that you will get reminders of when we are going live. And please do share the video. All of that helps us, and they are completely free ways to be able to support us by just telling people about what we're doing and making time to listen to our content. Okay. If you are saying, girl, I don't want to subscribe $5 a month, I already did the like, subscribe, and all the things and such, but I still want to be able to support you. Well, there are other ways that you can do that. You can support us over on the Cash Apps. Okay. So if you go to Cash App, $Kalonda or $Kimberland Jackson, you can send us a $5 love offering, however much. I don't want to limit your blessing. Okay.
You know,
However much you want to bless us with, we
we
will
might need to buy
absolutely
more soy
appreciate it.
sauce.
And well, we're going to hold off on the soy sauce.
Oh,
I think we got enough on the soy sauce. We're gonna switch over to a different continent after this, okay? Because we're not gonna want Asian nothing no more after all of this soy sauce.
girl.
But but yeah, one of the things that I know I want to be able to get is an actual vlogging camera. I only have one device, so I only have my phone. So I do want to be able to get a camera where I'm able to make better vlogs. And create more content when I am out and about. So that is one of the ways that the money is used. And also, it goes to meet our basic needs to make sure that rent is paid, that we have food, that, you know, the things. So thank you in advance for any of you who are feeling led in that direction to help us in those ways. Tell the people where they can find you, please.
Well, I am on Instagram at Kawana Bear, KAWANABEAR. I am on Facebook, Kalonda Jackson, KALONDA Jackson, just like you spell it. Well, without the X, I forget. We got millennials now. Then you can find me at visionaryenetwork.com, which is the website for my executive assistant network. If you do need an executive assistant, you can also find me on Instagram for Visionary Executive Network at Visionary Executive Network. Yeah, and then when all else fails, you'll find me at the bear cave. Now, where the bear cave is at any given moment, Lord knows. So I beat up.
And also, you can find Kalonda on the Content Kalonda playlist on the
Content Kalonda
Minding.
with Minding My Black Ass Business, where my vlogs live, and we'll be
Great.
up.
Because we're gonna be looking for this Peru
trip.
vlog. Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna be looking. All right.
Yeah.
So you all can find me at KimberlandJ on Instagram, as well as Minding My Black Ass Business, Minding My Black Ass Business on all platforms. And you can also find me at Finding Peace Abroad as we're having these conversations and you're thinking to yourself, I think I actually do want to go ahead on and start this process. I will let you know that I've successfully helped at this point 6 people make a transition out of the US, and they're in various places, Croatia and Belize and Colombia and Mexico. So they're in different places, right? So if you are like, I don't know where to get started, go on over there to findingpeaceabroad.com. And there are a couple intro videos to hear more about my story. You can also book time there for a one-on-one strategy session. So that's also an option. And on the YouTube channel, there is a playlist for Finding Peace Abroad where you can get some additional things that you should be thinking about, how you should start this process and what have you. All right. So we'll be back in 2 weeks. Okay, what's that date? Do we have that date there?
March. It is
March 9th.
March 9th.
So we'll be back in 2 weeks on March 9th. Before we get back here, we're going to be, though, in the Patreon. So please do, again, come over there and hang out with us. And leave us some feedback. If you've gotten this far in the video, go ahead and drop some sunflowers, some crayons, some ladybugs, some blue hearts. Go ahead and drop it in the chat, because that means that you love us. Okay, make it rain. Make it rain with our emojis. All of that makes a difference. And again, if you are a young person between the ages of 18 to 25 and you are interested in any of these areas that are here on the screen, please do go to tinyurl.com/ so you don't put syrup on your grilled cheese, the acronym, intern app. Okay. And please go ahead and get that application in if that is something that you are interested in, looking forward to, wanting to do, wanting more information about. Go ahead and connect with us. All right. Anything else before we roll out that you want to leave with the people?
That is it, love.
All right. Well, we'll catch y'all in 2 weeks, and keep talking to us in the comments because we'll be here. All righty. Bye.